Mark Guehi's near move to Liverpool ended in breathtaking fashion. A deal reportedly agreed and a medical completed, only for Crystal Palace to pull the plug at the last second. And overnight, a quiet corner of the transfer market has become a battlefield of ambition. The immediate headlines scream disappointment for Liverpool supporters who thought their defensive rebuild had just taken a major step forward. But the real story is the opportunity that failure has created, with Guehi still on Palace's books and his contract set to run down. The biggest clubs in Europe are suddenly in a position to make a play without paying a transfer fee, turning what looked like a straightforward Premier League transaction into a pan-European race for a rising England centre-back. What actually happened on deadline day matters because it shapes the next 12 months. Reports say a deal was agreed, medicals were completed, and paperwork was at the edges of being filed, but Palace ultimately refused to release their captain after failing to secure a ready replacement. A defensive gamble that left Liverpool stunned and Guehi frustrated. That stall leaves Guehi in a powerful position, contract running toward its final year, the clock now allowing him to have genuine freedom of movement next summer. From January onwards, he will be able to open pre-contract discussions with foreign clubs. A mechanism that suddenly makes Barcelona and Real Madrid more than casual observers, and instead very real contenders to sign him on a free in 2026. For Barcelona and Real Madrid, Murid. This is exactly the kind of opportunity that changes transfer windows into strategic coups. Barcelona, who lost defensive options and have looked for reliable centre-back depth, could acquire a prime-age English international without a fee and with the kind of profile that fits their ball-playing expectation. Real Madrid, always pragmatic when elite defenders become available, would view Guehi as an athletic, composed option who could slot into a rotation or eventually replace aging starters. The allure for both Spanish giants is economic as much as tactical. Securing a strong young centre-back on a free would be a headline-making bit of business that rebalances budgets and strengthens the spine of the team. But the picture isn't monochrome. Liverpool, who reportedly believed they had the deal done, will not disappear from the equation. The club's need for defensive reinforcement and the prior agreement they reached mean they could return next summer with renewed intent, perhaps having to offer a meaningful fee if Palace still holds negotiating power, or else waiting for 2026 when Guehi becomes a true free agent. Palace, meanwhile, faces a difficult choice: short-term stability versus long-term value. Holding Guehi for one more season may protect the squad now, but if the captain refuses to extend, Palace risks losing arguably their best defender for nothing, a gamble that could force a difficult dressing room conversation before next summer. From Guehi's vantage point, the collapse of one route increases his leverage and the breadth of his options. If he favoured Liverpool, as some reports have suggested, he may now have to weigh club identity, the assurances he was given, and the reality of being courted by two of Spain's most storied institutions. Convincing a player who believed he was heading to Anfield to pivot to Catalonia or Madrid won't be simple. Personal preference, playing time guarantees, wage structure, and the appeal of La Liga life will all play into a final decision. Yet that is precisely why the coming months are so volatile. What began as a failed transfer could end with Guehi choosing where his next chapter unfolds, and Europe's elite will make persuasive offers to influence that choice. Tactically, Guehi offers the blend of physicality and technical comfort that fits both the Premier League and La Liga, but adaptation matters. Barcelona's style demands ball progression from the back and positional intelligence. Real Madrid price, situational leadership, and aerial solidity. Any club that signs him will have to map a clear role and a pathway into the first 11, and that promise may be the decisive factor if salary and prestige are otherwise comparable. At the same time, Palace's reaction in the transfer market and the player's own public and private statements will steer negotiations. A single interview, a training ground incident, or a quiet meeting with an agent could signal the path he ultimately chooses. So what might happen? One plausible scenario sees Liverpool regrouping and returning with an improved bid next summer. Another sees Barcelona are real, using January contacts and early negotiations to secure a pre-contract and win a free transfer coup. A third, less dramatic but still possible, sees Guehi agree a new deal with Palace if the club can sell the picture of progress and ambition. For viewers and fans, the only certainty is suspense. A deadline day collapse has given way to a slow strategic chess match that will define a defender's career and reshape defensive plans across multiple top clubs. In weeks and months to come, whispers, leaked talks and formal offers will turn headlines into consequences, and Europe's elite will all be watching one name as his next move becomes the transfer story that dominates the summer.